should tell you what an experienced veteran she is.
I think mine is 8.
So we got a little snap of the team previews there.
Yep.
But we're going to be going very quickly into it. We have on Niels Dunlop's side Tapu Lele, Alolan Muck, Alolan Marowak, Pelipper, Kartana, and Alolan Raichu. All of the Alolan forms being repped here.
And on Trista's side of the field, we got the Celesteela, the Salamence, Gigalith, Tapu Lele, Porygon 2, and the Alolan Marowak.
What do you think so far, Matt? Just looking at these for the first time.
Well, we're seeing at another Tapu Lele mirror. We've seen quite a lot of Tapu Lele holding things like Psychic Seeds, yeah, you know, like sometimes a Psychium Z crystal, but you know, like Tapu Lele mirrors are they can do damage to each other, but I wonder here we're actually going to see Tapu Lele because they both have the Marowak which can deal with it. So it's a bit of a mirror all the time around. Meanwhile, in the meantime, Nilst also does have the Pelipper which can cause the rain, but and do heavy damage to the Gigalith, but only if there's no Sandstream.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see if the two players go for their opposing weathers in this match. I find the Tapu Lele mirror tends to at least end quite quickly when it does happen.
That's true, depending on what Z Crystal is being used, or if one is being used in the first place. I guess we're going to be seeing the leads in just a minute.
Let's see how we go. So we're going to be seeing the leads come out from Niels Dunlop's side. And we have Tapu Lele and Alolan Raichu. On Trista's side of the field, we've got Salamence and Porygon 2. Two very colour-coordinated Pokemon there, I appreciate that.
Yeah, very lovely. They're all a little bit pink and a little bit red. Raichu is breaking the mold here, being completely yellow.
Raichu didn't get the memo.
But yeah, Raichu is going to lead off, but it won't be able to use its fake outs because of the psychic terrain that's just been put up. Meanwhile, Trista has gone for a very, very defensive lead of Porygon 2 and the Intimidate supports with the Salamence.
Yeah, perhaps worrying about the Alolan Marowak or the Kartana coming out early to bring in the Salamence for that early Intimidate. As it happens, Intimidate not really doing its work here, so we might see her preserving the Salamence for later Intimidate-y shenanigans.
Indeed, the Raichu could also do a lot of damage to the Salamence because Salamence is usually a little bit weaker on the especially defensive side.
So we've got Porygon 2 switching straight out and Celesteela coming in. We've got Bulk for Bulk swapping out here.
Well, that's a little bit odd. Ooh, but we do see the Z Crystal.
Early Z Crystal, and that is a Psychic Z Crystal being used on the Alolan Raichu. Really could have been either of them, but we've gone for the Raichu. Who is going to be the target of this? Was it trying to target down that Porygon 2 before it could get a Trick Room up? We're going to have to see. And the Shattered Psyche is going into the Celesteela slot. So that was a good switch on Trista's part because that Shattered Psyche is not going to do an awful lot to Celesteela.
Yeah, that does very little to Celesteela indeed, even with the Psychic Terrain up.
Oh, we've got matching dances on opposing sides of the field, and this is the Dragon Z move that we have here. So we're going to see the devastating Drake Z move from Salamence. We'll get to see Salamence turn from a slightly chubby, deformed little blue dragon into a slightly more elegant, twisty purple dragon. And we'll have to see who it's going to target down here. It's going to go for the Raichu. Well, of course it went for the Raichu.
Yeah, and that Raichu gets knocked straight out.
That was an aggressive first turn.
Very, very aggressive on both sides of the field. Tapu Lele still does get a Psychic off on the Celesteela, but what a wonderful switch by Trista.
That actually did quite a lot of damage, that Psychic, to the Celesteela.
Yeah, we do see the Life Orb in the Tapu Lele, which is quite an interesting choice. Tapu Lele obviously being such a well-rounded Pokemon, you can stick any item on it and it will still do such a good job. Obviously the Celesteela took a lot of damage from this Psychic Terrain boosted Shattered Psyche from the Raichu and the Life Orb boosted Psychic from the Tapu Lele, but it still took it so well, probably indicating that this Celesteela has even more specially defensive bulk than most Celesteela may do. But Nils does switch in the Kartana in this slot for the free switch.
More special bulk than Celesteela normally do. That is a scary thought, Matt.
It indeed is. Meanwhile, the Salamence did cover that brilliantly because of the Intimidates earlier, but there were no real physical threats there anyway. Except for now, we do have the Kartana, which might have, if there isn't as much physical defense into this training into the Celesteela, maybe the Kartana does have a move that can knock it out at this point.
Well, the Kartana is pretty much the embodiment of a physical threat. Not that you'd think to look at it, with it being a little dancing and looking very fragile, but if you've ever had a paper cut, you know how much Kartana can hurt.
Oh yeah, and if Kartana is just basically an embodiment of a paper cut, it will hurt a lot. And indeed, we do see the Sacred Sword onto the Celesteela. It does knock out.
Well, that was a Celesteela down in 3 moves. That Celesteela, that's the quickest I've ever seen that happen. We've got the attack rise on the Kartana. Of course, the attackers will start getting boosted by the Beast Boost, but we've got Flamethrower from Salamence, which is gonna... Oh, we see Focus Sash. We do see Focus Sash on the Kartana. So it might be able to launch off another attack before it goes down, but it's not going to be around for much longer. And Moonblast taking Salamence straight down. This is a hyper-aggressive game.
Yes, excellent playing by Nils. You know, it was a little bit heartbreaking to see the Celesteela switch in on both of those psychic moves, but in the end it did work out because the Kartana was able to get the KO on the Celesteela there, and the Moonblast with the Life Orb is enough also to knock out the Salamence. So excellent playing by Nils, excellent offensive move.
I find nothing upsetting about watching a Celesteela go down in 3 moves, Matt.
That is true, and we do see the special attack boost on this Porygon, so maybe a little bit of a threat at this moment in time. Thankfully the Sandstorm damage isn't going to knock out the Kartana, but the Kartana is such a threat at this point in the game.
It's going to be, of course, faster than Gigalith and Porygon 2 on the field. I think Trista would very much like to get her Trick Room up at this point, but that relies on Porygon 2 not being KO'd by a Sacred Sword, which it is not going to be. Eviolite is such a good item on it. You don't really see any variety there, it's always Eviolite, but we've got Psychic from Tapu Lele, and that is enough to finish it off. No Trick Room for Trista.
Wow, excellent playing by Nils. The Psychic Terrain really is paying dividends at this position in time. Excellent Psychic Terrain usage. 2 Psychics, a Shattered Psyche, and really, Nils is in a fantastic position with only this Gigalith left to deal with.
It was a good Rock Slide though by Trista, able to use the stab boosted Rock Slide, doing some fairly decent damage to Tapu Lele, and also just getting that little bit of chip damage just to get rid of Kartana. We don't want that on the field anymore. But we have Pelipper coming out to get rid of the sand and make it a little bit more rainy on the field.
Excellent offensive game plan from Nils Dunlop right here. Now the Sandstream is gone, so we won't even see some sort of clutch Gigalith sweep at the very, very end, because the Sandstream is gone, which means Gigalith loses its special defense boost. So Pelipper is just going to be able to knock it out. But we do see it's not quite as fast as Tapu Lele.
So Tapu Lele going first there, taking a little bit of life or damage, but hanging in there, and this is surely game for Niels here, because this Scald is going to knock into the Gigalith, and Niels Dunlop from Sweden takes game 1 of this round.
Yeah, excellently played by Nils, I would say. Trista really decided to play, looked at the team matchup and thought, you know what, there's a lot of offensive Pokemon here, maybe I'll just go for, some sort of defensive lead. That probably didn't work out properly, because Nils really just went after and after and after with more moves. The Celesteela couldn't really stand a chance, especially with 2 big psychic moves onto it. It just brought it into that into the Sacred Sword range from the Kartana, and yeah, a Celesteela going down in 3 moves in 2 turns. That's nuts, isn't it?
It is pretty nuts. I do not think we should count Trista out of it just yet. She is a 3 times world competitor.
Yeah.
She's had a really good run. She's come up with some very tough competition earlier in her round. She's been taking out some strong names. And yeah, I don't think we should be counting her out just yet. We've seen so many players come back from this game 1 and go on to actually win the set.
Yeah, definitely not. And after she missed out on day 2, quite heartbreakingly, she, I think, is ready in day 2 again, and she's probably very happy with that. She has won a regional back in 2011, I believe it was, but again, we were going to recap the teams. Nils Dunlop from Sweden is running a team of Tapu Lele, a Alolan Muck, a Alolan Marowak, a Alolan Raichu, I love the word Alolan, Pelipper and Kartana.
And on Trista's side, once again, well, they're not even going to give us time. They are ready, but we do have Celesteela, Marowak, Porygon 2, Tapu Lele, Gigalith, and Salamence on her side of the field.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to see how Trista decides to lead differently than she did in the last game.
Do you think she'll manage to get the Trick Room up this time? I think Trick Room is... I know that we have the Alolan Marowak on the other side of the field, but I think Trick Room is probably the way that she should be trying to go. And this looks like a bulky Trick Room lead if ever I saw one.
Yes, very much so. We also see the exact same knees from Nils, very, very, very offensive.
So Trista's in a good position to get Trick Room up here if she wants to, because we don't have Kartana on the field, which is the big threat to Porygon 2. We could potentially see a Z Crystal move coming straight out here from Niels, try and get that Porygon 2 out of the way, but I think Trick Room's probably going up this turn.
Yeah, that's very true. We did see in the previous turn he did actually target the Porygon 2 with such a Shattered Psychic and the Psychic from the Tapu Lele. Maybe he's expecting those two moves to knock the Porygon 2 out.
Potentially, yeah. I don't remember. It went down to a Sacred Sword last game, didn't it?
It did go, but it did switch out into the Celestina, which took those Psychic moves quite well.
True.
But yeah.
So yeah, we might see this double targeting strategy again for Niels. I'm not sure if they will double knock it out. It looks like he might be going for the same strategy once again, but Porygon 2 is staying in this time.
That's true, because Porygon doesn't quite have the safe switch into the Celesteela. Well, we thought he was safe at the time, but
not so safe
not
switch.
really, yeah. And we do see this Shattered Psyche here from the powerful Alolan Raichu.
And presumably, yeah, going into the Porygon 2 slot. The duck is bouncing all over the psychic field. And
poor duck.
Oh, that is doing heavy damage. Is the Life Orb Psychic going to be enough to finish off Porygon 2?
I believe it very much is. The Psychic terrain is really what is winning Niels the game right now.
Oh, and I stand corrected. It's Porygon 2, as bulky as it is a bulky little duck, but it was just not enough to get the Trick Room up. But we see the Heavy Slam in Tapu Lele, which is immediately going to shut that down.
Yeah, this might be big, because with the Beast Boost, Tristan might get a special defense boost there. Right there. There we go. I knew it was specially defensively trained.
So both players now having to react to this switch in another Pokemon of theirs. Trista having lost her Trick Room setter, but Niels having lost one of his bulky Tapu Lele, what am I saying? One of his not bulky, most powerful attackers. That said, he does have pretty much a team full of powerful attackers. Pelipper's pretty much the only thing on his team that's not a powerful attacker, and indeed we see Kartana coming in instead. So we've gone from a special attacker to a physical attacker, and on Trista's side we also see an offensive switch in with Marowak.
Yes, this might actually be a very dangerous situation for Niels here. If the Celestia picks up yet another KO, the special defense is going to boost again, and of course there's a Lightning Rod on the field, and Celestia does have the chance to get more and more special defense boosts up to get itself in a position where it won't even get knocked out by a Raichu.
And you never know, we might actually see Celesteela lasting a little bit more and actually doing Celesteela things this match. So they do have to be very careful. So Marowak can happily threaten either of the two things in the field, but it's actually going to go for a Protect here. Maybe to scout out what moves Niels is going to use, and indeed we saw Psychic was targeting down the Marowak.
Wow, excellent Protect by Trista here. While Celestia goes for the Flamethrower, it's going to proc the Focus Sash. I really like Flamethrower Celesteela. It does win the Celesteela mirror, essentially.
It does.
That's probably exactly what it's there for. But yeah, excellent Protect by Trista here. Niels is still in the same position, but now the Kartana has lost its Focus Sash.
Yes, so the Kartana's probably only going to be able to get off one attack now before it goes down. Any other Pokemon, you could happily switch into Gigalith at this point to get the Sandstream chip damage, but as we've said, Kartana is a Steel type and therefore will not be affected, which is a little bit of a shame for Trista. What do you think Trista has to think about here?
I think Trista has to think about correctly deciding which Pokemon she wants to preserve, because Niels might be able to pick up a KO with two strong attackers on the field.
And here we go, we got Raichu using Encore! I love Encore Raichu, we saw a lot of that with Wolfie's team in Worlds, and Marowak is now just going to have to protect over and over again, but it might not get that much of a chance to because we have Smart Strike coming in from Kartana, which even if not very effective, potentially seeing if there was going to be a switch, that was a pretty good double target there. Marowak is now locked into Protect. And Flamethrower is here to take out that Kartana, possibly a little bit of overkill, but the Kartana goes down.
Yeah, that's true, the Kartana does go down, but now Celestia has gotten a second Beast Boost and a special defense. The Marowak isn't doing anything, but it's providing essential support for the Celesteela. This might be extremely dangerous, but we did see the Marowak go for a second Protect because of the Encore, and it did get the double Protect, so with the triple Protect, it's so much less likely now. So this Marowak is a very easy target, but at the same time, the Celesteela is way too dangerous to ignore.
Definitely, and this was probably a safe time to bring in Niels' own Marowak. He might have been worried about doing it before because it would redirect all of his own Raichu's Thunderbolts, which we have seen happen on stream yesterday. Players forgetting that Lightning Rod exists on their own Marowak. But since there's already a Marowak on the field, Raichu can't use the Electric Attack anyway, might as well bring in his own Marowak and get some damage done with it. But we see Trista switching out her own Marowak. She doesn't want it sitting there and just protecting with nothing, so she brings Gigalith in instead to get the sand up.
Yeah, we see a little nod from Niels there. The sand is going to give it the boost from any sort of attack from the Raichu. We do see the Psychic's not going to do too much, or a little bit more because of the Psychic, But we do see a Flare Blitz. It's going to be a big one onto that Celesteela. Will we see a one-hit KO?
We will! Wowee, that was especially defensive Celesteela, as we said, but that is still impressive of the Marowak, and that is heavy recoil.
Ouch.
But we see Raichu and Marowak just taking that little bit of chip damage, and now Trista will have to see what comes in on her side of the field to try and turn this back in her favour.
Yes, we did see what she did switch out, and it was the Marowak no longer Encore, but Trista does have to keep the Encore into mind right now.
So both players down to their final 2 Pokemon, Marowak v Marowak and Gigalith versus Raichu. Do you think we could call it at this point, or do you think it's still too close?
I think it's very heavily in Trista's favour, because the Gigalith can't really be damaged too heavily by Raichu or Marowak unless we see a double target, but Trista could make a prediction here as well.
We'll just have to see what they're going to do for us. We're just waiting on Niels to use his move here. You can see the move time counting down there, but I suspect Trista's already made hers. Yeah,
I think it's the big decision for Niels here. This turn might make or break the game. Yep.
And here we go. So Raichu is going for the Psychic into the Marowak slot. Again, doing quite a decent amount of damage, but this is Niels' own Marowak using Bone. It's enough to take down. It's enough to take down the Gigalith.
That is a big one from Niels. That might have just been a damage roll, because we do see the Shadow Bone go out right now. You also see the Marowak move before, and now Trista's Marowak may just be in Psychic range, so Niels may have just won this one just by the scruff of its neck.
Oh, it's still... Yeah, I think at this point the Raichu Psychic is going to be enough to take down the Marowak.
Apart from maybe an accidental Encore or Thunderbolt or Fake Out, I think Niels has this one.
I think Niels has this. So, Raichu is going to use Psychic, take down the Marowak, and that is going to be this set to Niels.
Yeah, wonderfully played by Sweden's Niels Stardnop. Sweden now finally getting some representation in VGC. Very positive showing right there. But I think Trista did play quite well as well. A little bit too defensive maybe, but yeah, I think actually excellently played. It wasn't too well, but it was mostly because Niels just went for more and more attacks.
That's the thing. The like taking down the Porygon 2 as quickly as possible in both games. That was huge. If Trista had managed to get her Trick Room up, that whole game could have gone. Both games could have gone very differently. But Niels was just such an aggressive player, and he didn't dance around. He didn't let Porygon 2 do any of its things. He said, "I am going to take that down, and I am not going to have Trick Room up in this match."
Exactly. This game really showcases how good the terrains can really be.
Oh, definitely. Psychic Terrain putting in the work there, boosting up that the Alolan Raichu's Psychinium Z move and the Tapu Lele's own Psychic moves. I don't think... Did either of them have to use any other attacks all game?
That is very true. But we are going to be jumping into another game very soon.
Yes, we are. We're going to be jumping straight into our secondary stream match. We're going to have to see who the players have got sat down. Do we know who we have?
Yes, we have Tommy Valentine Colleen from the USA, and we have Lorenzo Catalozzi from Italy.
Oh, very exciting. So we see the 2 players sitting here. We've got John Hawkins is our stream judge for this one. The 2 players just getting ready to go into their game.
That is true.
Here is our team preview.
Yeah, and from Lorenzo's side we have Metagross, Milotic.
Is that a Silvally? That's a Silvally.
Nice. Marowak, a Tapu Koko, and an Aerodactyl.
Well, that's a fun team, isn't it?
Yeah.
On the other side, for Tommy, you've got a slightly more orthodox team. I never thought I would say that with Golduck and Pelipper in it, but we have Golduck, Alolan, Mutt Porygon 2, Pelipper, Tapu Bulu, and Tapu Koko. There's a lot of ducks on this team.
Yeah,
is this triple duck?
I believe so.
Duck, goose. Can we count Pelipper as a goose? Duck Pelican is the less known primary school playground game. So we've got quite an orthodox team here from Tommy, but a far more unusual. And yeah, I'm interested to see how Lorenzo's team goes here.
Yeah, Tommy is probably the favourite to go. I'm not entirely sure about Lorenzo's achievements, but Tommy, I know, is an East Coast player who hasn't done quite so well at the World Championships, but is always up there in terms of regional finishes. But we are going to see our leads very soon.
That was a very stylish lead over there from Tom's
Yeah,
side of the
very.
field. So we've got Tapu Koko and Aerodactyl, 2 of the 130 base speed Pokemon, 2 of the fastest things in the metagame, and we see the immediate going for the rain team on Tommy's side. He does have the rain mode and the trick room mode potential in his team, both duck based, and we see the electric terrain going up due to the electric surge of Tapu Koko.
Yeah, that's very true. But Golduck definitely, with its swift swim ability, can pick up whichever KO it wants. Bar maybe the Aerodactyl holding a Focus Sash and going for the Tailwind, I don't see Tapu Koko being able to actually hurt this lead duo.
No, Aerodactyl's an interesting Pokemon. It can run so many different tech moves it can be running. It could be running Wide Guard, it could be running Roar, there's Whirlwind, there's Sky Drop, there's all sorts of fun things that Aerodactyl could be doing here, and it probably is running a Focus Sash. There we go, we see the Tailwind coming up from Aerodactyl, making sure that, not something that I imagine Aerodactyl and Tapu Koko have to do very often, but there we go, the Tailwind is up.
But we do see a mirroring of a Tailwind from Tommy's side. Actually brilliantly done.
Yeah, good prediction.
Yeah, Tommy doesn't actually waste the Z-Crystal there, which Golduck most commonly carries, because if he did waste the Z-Crystal on the Tapu Koko would have probably just clung on, especially with the Protect. But the Hydro Pump, it did risk the miss, but it would have probably KO'd the Tapu Koko. And we do see another Hydro Pump.
Here's the Hydro Pump.
The definite Hydro Pump. Maybe the Z-Crystal might have been a little bit safer, unless he's not actually carrying the Z-Crystal. But Tapu Koko does go down.
Yeah, that's Golduck is powerful enough anyway, with the rain boost as well, the Hydro Pump being enough to take down the fairly frail Tapu Koko, and we see the Aerodactyl coming in for its Rock Slide and Hydro Pump from Pelipper. It was indeed carrying a Focus Sash.
Yes, the Aerodactyl was carrying a Focus Sash, but the burn!
Oh! I just heard the crowd roar outside.
But the burn! Wow! The Aerodactyl is going to go down this turn. Fantastic for Tommy. Heartbreaking for Lorenzo. He missed the Rock Slide on the Pelipper as well, so you know the Pelipper is sitting very pretty there. The Ducks are unstoppable at this point.
Oh god, poor Lorenzo, that is awful luck to have had there, but he's bringing in his Alolan Marowak and his Metagross as his 2 remaining Pokemon. Metagross, not a Pokemon we've seen at all yet.
Yeah, and we have seen a Metagross in day 1. Aaron Zeng was actually running it in Psychic Terrain with the Zen Headbutt, but it did miss. But yeah, these Pelipper and Golduck, you know, Marowak isn't sitting in a nice position here. We really saw a Focus Sash, so nothing can really take a water move. And we do see the Z-Crystal finally from Tommy, revealing it on the Golduck. I think he timed using his Z-Crystal absolutely excellently.
I think so too. The Aerodactyl and Tapu Koko far more frail than the things that Lorenzo could and did have in the back. So saving the Waterinium to actually take out Metagross here. This is a one-hit KO on the Metagross.
Yes, excellent play, excellent game played by Tommy Colleen. He does get the score off from the Marowak, and that should be a KO.
That is game.
That is. Was that a clean 4-0? I believe
that was a clean 4-0 to
damageless, damageless clean 4-0 from the Duck lead of Pelipper and Golduck. Well done from Tommy. Excellent, excellent.
And yeah, that was incredible. Just showing off the power, the power of Golduck, having that rain, having the water Z-Crystal, just being able to fire off such incredibly powerful water moves, and especially on a team where there wasn't any water resistance. That was pretty dangerous.
That's very, very true. But Tommy, we can't express enough how well he timed the usage of his Z-Crystal. He knew that the Aerodactyl would go down to a Hydro Pump or carry a Focus Sash. He knew that the Tapu Koko would go down to a Hydro Pump. He knew that the Marowak would go down to the Hydro Pump. So he saved his Z-Crystal for the most opportune moments.
Definitely, yeah. It's not much of a reveal to see that Golduck has a Z-Crystal, but it meant that he was able to use it on a bulkier Pokemon later in the game, and just get that little bit of potentially unclearness, what is my English? Ambiguity about his team. But we're going to go into game 2 of this round now. I'm interested to see Milotic here. I kind of like Milotic's a Pokemon I've actually seen quite a lot in online play, but I've not seen much of it in here today.
Yeah, I think I can say the same here. But Lorenzo did get unlucky there with the burn as well on the Aerodactyl and the Rock Slide miss. But their teams are Metagross, Milotic, Silverlie, Marowak, Tapu Koko, and Aerodactyl on Lorenzo's end, while Tommy has Golduck, Pelipper, Porygon 2, Triple Duck, Muck, Tapu Koko, and Tapu Bulu.
So, are we going to see the same lead? Are we going to see the very fast and frail lead from Lorenzo? And are we going to see the Ducks in Rain lead from Tommy?
Like water from a duck's back.
Oh, gosh. I mean, apart from the fact that Golduck is clearly like a kappa or a platypus or something, and Pelipper's, well, a pelican. We'll call them ducks. Well, let's call them ducks. Aerodactyl and Sylvali. We have Sylvali here. And which Sylvali is that?
It is a green Sylvali, which I believe means it is a grass type. I don't think it's a bug type.
It's unlikely to be bug in this metagame, I think.
Yes, it would be a bit more of a lighter shade of green, I believe. But yeah, the Swift Swim lead, yet again. Aerodactyl does have that focus sash, which should be, you know, what guarantees a tailwind being set up. I think all Lorenzo can really do is match the tailwind with what the Pelipper is going to do. But the Sylvali is relatively dangerous on its own as well.
It is. I do wonder, that is the Pelipper going to go for a Hurricane here on the Sylvali? We see a Protect from Golduck and Sylvali using its own Protect. So did Pelipper try to attack, or did it try to get its own Tailwind up? Aerodactyl is going to get Tailwind up, and we'll have to see whether the Pelipper is going to answer that.
Yeah, with a Hydro Pump, not matching the Tailwinds.
Not matching the Tailwinds, which means this Sylvali is in a good position to come in and hit this Golduck with a Grass attack if it wants to.
Yes, that's true, and a Rock Slide might not be enough to KO the Pelipper, especially if it's holding a Focus Sash of its own, but definitely with the a Grass move from the Sylvali will definitely probably pick up the KO there. Tommy Colleen going for a read almost, and it doesn't really work out because I think he would really like the Tailwind here. Not having matched the Tailwind is a real problem for him right now.
That is painful, and the Aerodactyl is going to go for Rock Slide. Is this going to... It's not. Pelipper is shockingly bulky. We've got the Hydro Pump coming in here from Golduck into the Aerodactyl slot just to take it out.
Risky.
Risky.
The Aerodactyl does get knocked out there. He did risk a little bit with the Hydro Pump, but maybe he was expecting some sort of switch as well. And we do see the Grass move onto the Golduck.
Grass type multi-attack coming in from Sylvali. Not Judgment. Multi-attack coming in from the Sylvali, holding its Grass memory with its Archaeus system to take out the Golduck.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the Pelipper is still sitting there. It can still potentially set up a Tailwind.
It could, yeah. It's Sylvali won't like being Hurricaned if it happens, but at the very least Pelipper's not too much of a threat at the moment, especially with Metagross on the field. Tapu Bulu is coming in here as well.
Yeah.
And Sylvali might enjoy that boost to its Grass multi-attack.
It might enjoy that boost very much indeed. Tapu Bulu does not enjoy seeing that Metagross come out, especially as it is weak to the Steel moves.
But here we go, Tapu Bulu is using Protect. It doesn't want to get hit by a Steel move just yet. And Sylvali is going
for the Ice Beam.
Ice Beam. That's this is a pretty cool Sylvali. So it's got a pretty mixed set. It's got lots of coverage, and Metagross actually going for the attack on the Pelipper. Potentially foreseeing the Protect or the switch from Tapu Bulu, and just wanting to make sure that he did some damage to that Pelipper slot.
Yeah, I think that was actually quite a clever play because the Tailwind is still up on Lorenzo's side. He knows he can pick up the KO on Pelipper, and if he doesn't, he knows the Tailwind is going up. And the Tapu Bulu is not really threatening his team either, so he just covered that option by Ice Beaming that slot, but he did run into the Protect. But I think this was a great play by Lorenzo. Yeah,
definitely. We do have Tapu Koko coming in now, although the Tailwind is still up, so I think Sylvali is going to outspeed it, but it's retreating anyway. And instead we are going to see Marowak coming in, hopefully to set up that Lightning Rod to protect his buddy Metagross.
Oh, but we do see the Z Crystal right here, I believe. That is a Steel-type Z Crystal.
That's a Steel-type dance if I ever saw one.
Yeah.
Knuckles clashing, the Steelium Z coming out from Metagross, and
Spirale Perforante.
Corkscrew Crusher.
Brilliantly done. It is going to target the Tapu Bulu. It's not going to be able to protect because it did protect last turn, and that's going to go down.
Yeah, that is a one-hit knockout.
And with a critical hit as well. Cherry on top.
So Tapu Bulu going straight down. It's almost odd seeing Tapu Bulu going straight down, not being as much of a threat like that. But the Lightning Rod's activating there to divert that Thunderbolt away from Metagross and onto Marowak.
That was actually a Thunder.
So we
see Tapu Koko in Thunder in the rain. Really cool choice by Tommy Colleen here.
Yeah, or I guess there's Pelipper with Hurricane, Tapu Koko with Thunder, just making the most of the weather. I think that's a really important thing when you have weather, is to capitalise on it.
Yeah, that's true, and Tommy does forfeit there. Excellently played by Lorenzo. He got very unlucky in the first game and decided, you know what, I really need to adjust in this one. But I think we need to talk about the fact that Tommy, I think he really made a mistake not matching the Tailwind, because without the Tailwind, he could not do anything to the Metagross, as the Metagross just ran rampant in later turns.
I know. I understand wanting to attack the Silvally. I understand that it's a grass type and it is a threat, but really the Tailwind was so crucial there. Especially things like his own Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko wants to be going first. It never wants to be going second.
Yeah.
I do agree. I think missing the Tailwind that's a shame that we didn't see that there for him.
Yeah, that's true. And he knew the Aerodactyl had the Focus Sash, and pretty much, if he does lead again with Pelipper Golduck, he knows that the Tailwind from the Aerodactyl is essentially guaranteed. So unless Tommy can find two Pokemon to outspeed the Aerodactyl, we are going to see a match Tailwind, and there's nothing Tommy can really do about that, apart from match his own.
There's the potential, of course. If he does have Porygon 2 on his team, we could see Trick Room coming out to counteract that Tailwind. Not that the... normally Lorenzo wouldn't mind Trick Room too much normally, but if he's got the Tailwind up, Trick Room would definitely be going in Tommy's favour.
Yes, and we are going to be jumping into a Game 3. To recap again, Lorenzo Catanozzi has a team of Metagross, Milotic, Silverlie, Marowak, Tapu Koko and Aerodactyl, while Tommy Valentine Killeen does have the Golduck, Pelipper, Porygon 2, Muck, Tapu Koko and Tapu Bulu.
And let's see if our players are going to delight us with different leads or if they're going to stick with the same. Each player has won one game at this point in this round, and we'll have to see if they decided their strategies are good to keep, whether they're going to switch back to old game strategies. We see Metagross coming out, who's still the Aerodactyl. As we've said, the Aerodactyl getting up the Tailwind is pretty much guaranteed, but switching things up on Tommy's side with Pelipper and Tapu Koko, which, as we know, has Thunder.
Yeah, that is true, and especially in the rain, it's going to always hit, but I think it's a really cool lead by Lorenzo here. He's guaranteed the Tailwind. I don't think, maybe unless the Tapu Koko wins the speed tie and goes for the taunt, I don't really think Lorenzo can be prevented from setting up a Tailwind. Meanwhile, this Metagross is free to go for the Corkscrew Crush, I believe it was, with the Steelium Z, and if Tommy protects at the wrong time, maybe we can see Lorenzo having the Tailwind up against Tommy yet again.
And we've got Metagross protecting. I wondered if we were going to see a switch into Marowak there, but we do see the protection from Metagross. Aerodactyl, of course, going for the Tailwind, winning that speed tie with the Tapu Koko if there was one. Some Tapu Koko do run slightly slower and more powerful, but we see it coming straight in here to take that Aerodactyl down to its Focus Sash, and what that was...
Volt Switch.
It was Volt Switch, so we see the Life Orb damage there on Tapu Koko, Volt Switching out for... drumroll.
My guess is maybe the not the Tapu, but the Golduck.
Here we go, Golduck's coming in.
Yeah, now it has, and we see the match Tailwind.
There
Tommy
we go.
learning from his mistake in Game 2, the Tailwind is going to be up, and the Golduck is looking very threatening, especially with the Aerodactyl not having its Focus Sash anymore.
Yeah, definitely. And there's only a couple of things on Lorenzo's team that resist Golduck. We've got Silvally, which could still fall to an Ice Beam if Golduck's running it, and there is Milotic. Milotic, pretty much the only safe switch into Golduck on Lorenzo's team. Not sure if we will have brought Milotic though, given that there isn't an Intimidate user on Tommy's team.
Yeah, not only that, but also the Tapu Koko and the Tapu Bulu are very, very threatening to that Milotic.
So a failed protect there on Metagross. There's the Golduck taking down the Aerodactyl. Critical hit for 1 HP. Definitely mattered. Aerodactyl goes down, and we have another Hydro Pump from Pelipper. Scald. Taking down going to Metagross and getting another burn.
Oh, Lorenzo is so unlucky about these burns.
This is why Scald is used. It's used for that 30% burn chance, but that's unlucky, man.
Yeah, that is so unlucky. I was confusing Scald and Hydro Pump for a while, but we do see the Tapu Koko switching in right here. The Tapu Koko is definitely an offensive threat to both the Golduck and the Pelipper. Pelipper will go down unless we see a Focus Sash, which I don't think we have seen yet. And the Metagross with the burn, I can't really see it doing much at all.
We've got Tapu Koko coming in with the Protect here. Metagross also, this is what Metagross is just protecting this game. And we have a Z Crystal.
Yep, we see the Waterium Z from the Golduck. It's going to go yet again for that Water Z move, and Italian, it's called the Ultimate Cool Idrovortice Abyssale.
I love having players with different languages on the capture DS. It does make it more difficult for us. Hydro Vampire looks a lot like Hydro Pump when it is actually Scald, but it's cool seeing all the Z Crystal moves coming in with their European names.
That is true. Metagross did go for the Protect again, and are we going to do... what did we see from the Tapu Koko?
Tapu Koko protected that time?
Yes, I believe it did. Metagross protected as well. For what reason, I'm not entirely sure. But we are in the 4th turn right now, and do we see a lead from Tapu Koko, from Tommy's Tapu Koko? Yes, we did. So I believe that the electric terrain is going to be gone next turn. So maybe we see... Maybe Tommy Colleen is keeping the Tapu Koko in the back for that reason alone. Switching in
Marowak, interesting choice.
Very interesting choice, because Tapu Koko's going. Oh, we see the handshake.
That was a handshake.
Lorenzo is not happy, and I think Tommy's just going to take this one. I'm not entirely sure what happened in those last couple of turns of the game.
I'm not sure why the switching to Marowak. Who knows?
Maybe he was predicting some sort of switches, but the handshake does come out. I think Lorenzo is most likely going to forfeit next turn, especially with that burnt Metagross in the back.
Metagross on about a 3rd HP. It does look like this game is Tommy's to win. It's his for the taking, and it's going to be a 4-0.
Yeah, again with the double duck taking another 4-0. We did see the bullet punch just for laughs, but yeah, Lorenzo is probably out here right now. The skull is going to come out, and that's going to be it.
That is the game to Tommy Colleen, and that is the round.
Wow, Tommy Colleen really his game 2 ban was really unideal. He did go for some predictions. I think he must have forgotten about the
Fury's team of Marowak, Alolan Form, Tapu Koko, Milotic, Garchomp, Whimsicott and Celesteela. And for Conan's team, on the right-hand side of your screen, we're going to have Garchomp, Torkoal, Oranguru, Crocodile, Tapu Lele and Celesteela, and that is the first Torkoal we've seen on stream.
It is, yeah. We talked about the Torkoal. We kind of missed it for now, but this is actually really the first Torkoal we see, and it's not like the standard team of Torkoal I used to see or I used to play against. So we see the familiar combo of Torkoal and Oranguru, but I kind of missed the Lilligant, because Lilligant, thanks to the chlorophyll ability, is a pretty good abuser from the weather, from the sun, and especially with the combination of sleep powder and after you makes Torkoal even way more difficult to sweep.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. It's very, very true. We don't have that additional speed option on Conan's side of the field. He must be looking to get some really good trick room going on here. But guys, we are going to be able to kick into this match very, very shortly. Alessio Yoribashetto of Italy playing against Conan Thompson of the United States of America for qualification into the grand finals tomorrow of the European International Championships here in London. So here we go to see the leads of each team now. We see Milotic and Celesteela for Alessio, and for Conan we are going to see Tapu Lele and Garchomp.
Yeah, now this is very often open, because by Yuri a very defense position now, having Celesteela and Milotic both were very roundhouses in defense. So, but Garchomp and Tapu Lele can't really touch Celesteela good. So, I wouldn't be surprised when we're seeing a leech seed in one of both. It don't really matter. You could get in a leech seed on a Garchomp or in the leech seed on Tapu Lele, or I don't think he's going to attack. But
so we see the Fire Fang there. Okay. So that's an important tech to see on Garchomp, and a good reveal for the early in the game. And then we're going to see the double target into the Celesteela here. Will it pick up the knockout? It will. Incredible first turn for Conan Thompson. Milotic protecting itself, leaving Celesteela wide open for that double target. And Alessio is one Pokemon down in the first turn.
He's not only one Pokemon down, he's surprised. As surprised as I am, because I didn't think Fire Fang does so much damage.
No, not at all. So we have seen that Garchomp is the fastest thing. On last turn, we saw that Garchomp on Conan's side of the field was one of the fastest Pokemon. Tapu Lele moving directly after it and getting big damage off with its Thunderbolt. Garchomp here doesn't. We haven't seen if Tapu Lele is choice locked at all. So maybe if it is, it will be launching a Thunderbolt into Milotic this turn. But what do you see Yuri doing here?
He's in a difficult position, because seeing the Thunderbolt in Tapu Lele, not even sure how much damage it is. It could be Scarf, could be Specs. we're just sure it's not a life orb set, so Thunderbolt's definitely a threat for Milotic, so Garchomp isn't really able to hit up so much damage on Milotic. Maybe we're seeing the Dragon Claw, but I don't think so. But we're seeing a switch out from Garchomp into Oranguru.
There we see the Oranguru hitting the field. It is enjoying being in a Psychic terrain because its Psychic attacks will be boosted, and a Protect coming out from Garchomp, a Protect from Tapu Lele, which is confirming that it's not Choice Locked, it does not carrying the Choice Specs item. An Ice Beam is going to go into that Garchomp slot, and how much will this do with Oranguru, which is a very bulky Pokemon, and yeah, that is not going to be much damage at all there. So Oranguru is a very nice option for Conan to have here, because if he chooses to have something like Torkoal in the back, then he can set up Trick Room and be able to keep his momentum going for later on in the game.
Yeah, indeed, man. And absolutely now, Oranguru, if it's running the Citrus Berry, it's a pretty clear Trick Room option right now. And maybe he's running a more bulky Tapu Lele for keeping up in the Trick Room, like the Instruct combination, picking like the Moonblast if, for example, Garchomp's wearing the Sash, but I don't think it's like we're looking at this team, it's more like Ground UMZ, but I don't know. But okay, still, I'm guessing, but still, Tapu Lele gets the Garchomp again in, so probably you're not seeing the Trick Room right here, but seeing, okay, Milotic switching out for the Marowak in.
So we're going to see the Marowak coming in now, and we're actually going to see the first Z move of the game. There we go, that is the ground type Z move here. So we are going to see a Tectonic Rage coming out, and I believe it's from Yuri's side of the field. So we're going to see the Tectonic Rage activating Z-Power will be surging through this Garchomp, and here we go. It's going to do massive damage to the opposing Garchomp, but will it be able to pick up a knockout? I don't think it will. It'll probably leave it with about a third of HP here.
I don't think too, because Garchomp is always strong, but it's always so bulky. So the HP by Garchomp is just insane for the speed and power it got. But now we see a Psychic, thanks to a Psychic terrain, it's nearly
nice amount of damage.
Yeah, it is over 50%. That's really good.
It's very nice to pair Tapu Lele and Oranguru together, because you can get Trick Him Up by not being faked out. You can also boost Oranguru's psychic damage without having to invest too much in your special attack training. So a really nice combination there from Conan.
It is. And now Garchomp is in a... This could be just a position where I guess both Garchomps are as fast as they are. So it could be decided by speed tie. So is Garchomp is anyone willing to get in the speed tie? Maybe you're seeing a Protect by both Garchomp and attack from Oranguru and Garchomp. But no, we see the Protect by Marowak. Maybe I see the Earthquake here.
So we see the Protect from coming out from Marowak. We do see the Earthquake, Nemanja, so great call there. We see it's going to hit into the Protect of its partner Pokemon, and this is going to pick up the knockout onto the opposing Garchomp. How much will this do to Oranguru? That's a fair amount of damage, still surviving with over half its HP there, not activating any possible Citrus Berry, and we haven't seen if it's Mental Herb either, so those two popular items to run on your Oranguru, and the attack into the Alola Marowak's Protect doesn't do anything.
No, and I think Yuri's a little bit, he's really sure because he won the speed tie, but just 1 or 2% more on Oranguru and he would be sure about the item. So, because it's very important, if it's Citrus or is it Mental Herb. But I don't think Yuri is running a Taunt, maybe on Whimsicott. But anyway, Citrus is, in my opinion, the strongest set because Taunt is kinda rare and getting a turret KO without Citrus is always difficult.
It looks like a Marowak could match up quite well against Oranguru at this point in time. If he launches a Flare Blitz, it's going to be enraged for the knockout here. So it's a little bit of a interesting turn. We've got to see if Marowak wants to try and leave the field to stop any sort of psychic damage as well. So we are going to see it switch out now. Here comes in Milotic as well, so we might, if there's any predictions, we might see a Thunderbolt going into that slot, but with the Lightning Rod ability on the field from Alola Marowak, it's probably just going to be a Psychic here. Garchomp protecting, Psychic is going to come out onto the Milotic. How much will this do in the Psychic terrain? That is a lot of damage right there. No Citrus Berry coming out from the Milotic either, and we're going to see the Psychic going onto the Garchomp slump from the Oranguru.
Yeah, and this means this Milotic is now able to get to tank one more hit by Psychic by Tapu Lele, because Psychic Field is gone, the boost is away, so with the boost it did a little bit or more than 100 HP. Let's say like 55% damage, but now Milotic is able to get back the attack, so Garchomp is always a threat. Maybe he's running the Poison Jab we saw sometimes in the stream.
Oh, and here comes Torkoal. So that's an interesting switch in from Conan here, looking possibly to save his Psychic Terrain for later on in the game. With Tapu Lele being such an important Pokemon, Oranguru is going to use Protect, and we're going to be able to have Garchomp be able to launch a big attack here. It's going to be a Poison Jab into that slot. So a nice switch here to protect the Tapu Lele. Torkoal doesn't take that much damage, but unfortunately gets the Poison, and Milotic is going to use Recover and stick around for later on in the match.
Yeah, great play by Yuri, just recovering up his Milotic, getting this damage up, but Torkoal was a good switch in because the fear of Earthquake was very low. But anyway, the poison hurts, because now if he's running Eruption, he can completely forget about it. Hopefully he gets another spread move like Heat Wave or Flamethrower, which is not a spread move. But the one question is he able to get the Trick Room now up? Because the water type attack moves by Milotic are now lower, so if he's running Citrus, he will definitely get up the Trick Room.
Yep, a one attack from Garchomp might not be enough to take out Oranguru in one hit, and if he has the Citrus Berries, you suspect Nemanja, then we could see Oranguru, actually, no, we're just going to see Oranguru leave the field, and Tapu Lele is going to come in now to possibly take any sort of Dragon Claw antics from Garchomp here. Psychic Surge is going to reactivate, and the battlefield will get weird. There goes the Dragon Claw into the Tapu Lele slot, so a great play from Conan there. We're going to see the Scald coming out onto the Torkoal, which even in the sunlight still does a nice bit of damage, and are we going to see... Wow, we're going to see the Z move coming out from the Torkoal here. So Firium Z on the Torkoal, it's going to activate, and I don't think Torkoal's eyes could get any smaller, but it's looking pretty fiercely over Alessio's side of the field. So are we going to see attack into the Garchomp? Are we going to see attack into the Milotic here? It's going to be into the Garchomp. This is going to be some massive damage. Here we go. So Garchomp is going to be removed from the field. Firium Z on Conan's Torkoal, a really interesting choice.
Yeah, I was curious if it's going to be enough to get the knockout, but thanks to the sun, it was easy. So great play by Conan in the end. It was just 100% right predicting the Dragon Claw and the Scald. I was wondering, because Torkoal with Firium Z is kind of old school, even for this metagame.
Yeah. Just having access to what is the new Fire Gem, and being able to drop on some massive damage and pick up a one-hit KO like that is really what Torkoal wants to be doing here. Torkoal loves to be under Trick Room and having full HP to spam out some eruptions. Oranguru alongside it, so they can use Instruct and just repeatedly get massive spread damage going on the field. And Yuri is taking his time to think about what he wants to do here. He's his Milotic is in a difficult position where its water type damage is restricted here, and he's actually going to sit there, letting Marowak come in and just taking the full amount of time possible to think about his next turn.
Yeah, he will need the time, because it's pretty tough for Yuri now to get the comeback, but maybe he's already in the head in the second match when he thinks this match is over. So take your time for thinking about the second match, because you will probably need it. It's also one strategy of some players for when you know about you lost, you just take your time for the second match to have like an advantage of 1, 2 or 3 minutes. It could mostly be a very good advantage.
Yeah, so we are going to see Conan press his advantage here. He's going to launch a massive Psychic attack into that Marowak, picking the one-hit knockout there.
This is huge!
Really huge damage. So it might be there might be a boosting item onto the damage from the Tapu Lele there. Milotic will be able to pick up the knockout onto Torkoal, which even through the sun, but it was at reduced HP here. And we are going to see now that Oranguru will come back in for Conan Thompson. Milotic, the sole Pokemon left on Alessio's side of the field, and we're probably going to see a Psychic and Instruct here, or a double target with Psychic.
Yeah, but Tapu Lele is a 1 KO on Marowak. I have to let this down, because this was... I knew about the power, but there must be a boosting item or something, because I don't know much Tapu Lele who can knock out a full HP Marowak, so it's very unique.
Yep.
But I like it to see.
So Yuri there protecting his Milotic, and players might be wondering why he's done that. He's just trying to see what sort of set Conan is running on his Oranguru. He's going to reveal any other moves apart from that Psychic, and we do see the Instruct coming out there, so looking to get high damage off with that Tapu Lele. We're going to see the Psychic coming out now from Tapu Lele onto the Milotic. It's going to do massive damage. We've already seen how much damage that does. Recover is coming back, so Yuri is just looking to try and get as much information going into the second game as possible. Again, Instruct coming out from Oranguru, and this second hit will put it in range for a knockout next turn.
There's also a chance to wait till the field is away, you know, because without the Psychic fields, there's no more strong boost. But anyway, even if the Psychic field is away, still get access to a Thunderbolt. And Thunderbolt Instruct would still do too much damage for just recovery.
That is very true. We did see that Thunderbolt earlier on in the game. We're going to see the Protect coming out from Yuri here, and he again is just looking to get as much information as possible. Psychic coming out from Tapu Lele, and again a Psychic coming out from Oranguru here. I think Conan might be trying to keep the Thunderbolt in the back, saving it for when the Psychic terrain is going down.
Yeah, this definitely, because now good.
There it is.
Depends on the item, but Thunderbolt should be now a stronger attack, and yeah.
There we go.
And faster, yeah. But like I said before, maybe it's just like Alessio needs the time to think about it. How is he acting in the rest? So I think because we've seen on the stream, he's in a very thinking position. And he will take every second he has for the second match, for the second lead. So in Yuri's Alessio's side, how are you going to lead now?
Yeah, that's the interesting question. I mean, with two world caliber players like this battling it out all to get into the grand finals tomorrow, every second matters. And I think I wouldn't blame Yuri for taking his time to think through and get his head into that second game, because he is fighting an uphill battle now.
Yeah, he is. And now players are on the team preview. I think Alessio is going to be need a little bit more time. Conan now is very self-confident because he won the first match. Pretty good actually. He won get one knockout with Torkel even without one trick room. So it's also very rare.
But interestingly, we actually see that Alessio has chosen his Pokemon extremely quickly. So we'll go through the Pokemon once again for you, because we have just jumped out of team preview. That will be Alola Marowak, Tapu Koko, Milotic, Garchomp, Whimsicott and Celesteela on Yuri's side of the field. And for Conan, we're going to have Garchomp, Torkoal, Oranguru, Crocodile, Tapu Lele and Celesteela for Conan Thompson. So guys, this is the second game in our final round of Swiss here at day 2 of the European International Championships 2016. Give it up for both competitors. We are going to have Garchomp and Milotic coming out for Yuri here, and Oranguru and Garchomp coming out from Tonen.
Yeah, and the reason why, this was my guess, because the reason why he picked so fast, because he was 100% sure what he's going to pick, because he had the time to think about it. He just pick up the press, the protect, the recover, just to have in mind, okay, now I know it, and then you just give it up.
Yep.
And give Conan after that as less time as possible, so you have the time advantage. But now with Garchomp and Milotic, it's a decent position. I'm pretty sure it's a competitive Milotic, because it's always good. It's a really great ability.
It's one of the most powerful abilities.
Yeah, this may be the reason why you're not going to see the Crocodile by Conan.
Yeah, I mean, competitive ability, for those who do not know, does boost the special attack of a Pokemon when it's intimidated. So Milotic is a great choice if you're fearing anything like Gyarados or Arcanine, or that Crocodile that Conan has. But we actually are going to see the Milotic switch out here. Celesteela is going to come in instead. And here we go, a Z move on the first turn. This is going to be the Tectonic Rage attack coming out from the Garchomp on Yuri's side of the field. So again, full of Z power. We're going to see a massive amount of damage coming out from what is probably an Earthquake-boosted Tectonic Rage here. Again, going into that Garchomp, we saw that it doesn't pick up the knockout last time, and there will not be a Darkable target, so we'll see that Garchomp will survive this turn and possibly be able to... Oh no, the critical hit! I spoke too soon. I am sorry. That is probably the commentator's curse acting out right there. Conan, I'm very sorry there. And we see the Psychic going on to Celesteela, so Yuri in a pretty nice position here. Not much damage taken at all for Celesteela. And now it's Conan who loses the Pokemon on the first turn.
Yeah, and losing in the first turn through a critical hit with a full HP, it hurts so much, really, it hurts so much. I kind of feel sorry for Conan, but yeah, commentary curse, we shouldn't talk so fast to it. So
I'll zip my lip from now on. I'll zip my lip.
Just do it. Anyway, yeah, Alessio now in a very good position, trading a Z Stone for a Garchomp. Conan lost his fastest Pokemon on the field, and now the only thing Alessio has to do now is preventing now the Trick Room.
That's true. He does have 2 Pokemon which can single target attack this Oranguru to get as much damage off as possible. We might see even the Earthquake coming out from Garchomp. Obviously, Celesteela is a flying type, so it's not affected by that spread move, and Torkoal's super effectively hit by it, but you'd imagine Torkoal wants to protect here, and Conan will just want to go for that Trick Room button.
Yeah, but there's no way I can see Alessio can stop the Trick Room by Oranguru, so we're most likely seeing a Trick Room and protect. I don't see a reason why not, actually. And after that, a full HP Torkoal can, with Eruption, do a lot of damage, especially as Celesteela don't want to be in. So maybe I see a switch out by Celesteela, or just dealing up damage with Earthquake or Dragon Claw and Heavy Slam into Oranguru. Maybe also we see just a Leech Seed, but there's so many options. But in the end, the Trick Room will come up and the Torkoal will have the chance to sweep next round. But
we actually see the Torkoal going out there, Tapu Lele coming in instead. So Conan possibly feinting the Trick Room here. We see the Psychic Surge activating instead. Maybe he's going to get a bit of information about what Pokemon Yuri has in the back. Instead, we're going to see the Earthquake coming out, so Yuri just wanting to get as much damage as possible out onto the field. We're going to see the Earthquake hit both of these Pokemon here. So Tapu Lele is going to survive with just over half HP. Oranguru taking about a third of his HP there. And Celesteela is going to get behind a substitute. So a nice turn there. Psychic going to go into the Garchomp slot. We saw how much damage that did last time, leaving it just over half HP. And Celesteela behind a substitute is looking pretty.
It looks pretty, yeah. More than pretty. But I am okay, totally okay with Conan's play, because if I was Alessio, I always thought like just a normal Protect and Trick Room, but it's not actually. It's just like a thought on the Dragon. I don't think he thought about Dragon Claw, but anyway, we're seeing the Poison Jab into Tapu Lele is enough to get the knockout on Tapu Lele, bringing Alessio again in the way more better position now, bringing up the lead, avoiding the Leech Seed with Oranguru, and now setting up the Trick Room. Most likely thinking about getting the knockout on Tapu Lele just to have Oranguru and Torkoal in the back.
So,
okay.
So we do have the knockout onto Tapu Lele there, which is unfortunate. It does mean that he will not be able to use that later on when Trick Room runs out. But we do know that Torkoal is in the back. Torkoal will be coming in alongside Oranguru, and with the Instruct and Eruption combination, the substitute on Celesteela will be broken unless it protects. But more importantly, Garchomp will be knocked out by both of these attacks.
Yeah, he will. And also, the only reason maybe Conan was scouting about the White Guard maybe on Celesteela. So that's the reason why you don't bring up too early the Trick Room for a Heat Wave or Eruption. So maybe in the end a good play, but now we're seeing round stalling by Alessio. Just don't want to get any hit by the Trick Room. So running around with 2x subs, 1 Trick Room is also a very good position. But now we see the most known combination in VGC 17. It's just like the Eruption and Instruct combination.
It's so dangerous.
It's so good.
If you get caught out with it, it is going to be able to do a lot of damage to your team. And we see the leftovers coming out for Celesteela here. And we are down to 2 Pokemon left on Yuri's side of the, on Conan's side of the field. And with Yuri in the lead so much by Pokemon, he really has to think about how he's going to stall out these Trick Room turns. We haven't seen the 4th Pokemon on Yuri's side of the field. We saw the Milotic earlier. Maybe it's the Marowak in there to try and take some resisted damage from this Eruption, but something's going to have to take an Eruption at some point. It's going to have to take 2 if we see Instruct as well, and that is a lot of damage to deal with it. It will knock out some of these Pokemon.
Yeah, we definitely see 2 Eruptions right now, and with the full HP of Torkoal, this Celesteela and Garchomp, if they stay in, both will definitely faint it. So Milotic can stand 2 Eruptions, but if you're switching in and you tank 2 Eruptions, there's no chance you can take another 2 another time. But we're seeing the Garchomp in and the Milotic in. So I'm curious how much damage will it be. So we see the first Eruption here.
Here it goes, a massive plume of lava going to go out of Torkoal there. It's going to do a lot of damage to that Milotic. I mean, obviously it is resisted. It does just about 2/3 of its HP left. A critical hit as well there. So actually it will do less damage even this time. And Celesteela, are we going to be able to see it survive? I don't really think so. There's so much damage going to be coming out from Torkoal's side of the field. It's not boosted with a Charcoal, but it does have the option to launch a powerful Furium Z attack if it chooses to. And I just thought a little bit about why he might have sacrificed, why Conan might have sacrificed Tapu Lele. He just wanted to have the terrain up to protect Torkoal and Oranguru from any sort of priority attacks, possibly from that Whimsicott if it knew Taunt.
Yeah, Taunt, or maybe more dangerous, it's Anchor.
Yeah, exactly.
So bringing up the Anchor into a Trick Room user just annihilate the Trick Room if he stays in. So happens sometimes is always when the day is so long, when the match is so long, especially the last match, it's very easy to forget about the Encore.
Yep.
And it's pretty cool how Conan thought about it. Just sacrifice the Tapu Lele, only have Torkoal and Oranguru in the hand, bring up some Psychic Field. I like the player a lot.
Yeah, he's obviously showing his stuff. He is one game up in this final round of Swiss here at the European International Championships, and we have a difficult speed turn now because obviously Torkoal is the slowest thing on the field, Marowak is the second slowest thing on the field, you'd imagine, and then it will move between Oranguru and Torkoal's Eruption. But we just see the double protects coming out from Yuri here. We do see the Solar Beam coming out from Torkoal. It's going to draw in the light. It's going to attack into the Milotic's Protect here. And we are down to only a couple of Trick Room turns left. And so we are seeing that Yuri is doing a really good job of first stalling out the Sunlight on Torkoal's side of the field, then the Psychic Terrain, and we've got, I think, one turn left the Trick Room.
One turn left, yeah.
So
here we got turn one, number one left. I really love the new informations you got by Battle Stream, but both players don't have much time. Switching out the Marowak, maybe needing it later for dealing with the Torkoal, bringing up in Garchomp, but now we're seeing, okay, the firing Z-move.
Here we go, Inferno Overdrive. Torkoal is a beast, especially when it launches high-power fire attacks. It is not under the sun, unfortunately, so we won't be getting the full damage output that it could do. But here it goes, a massive amount of damage being launched Yuri's way. Garchomp is going to be taking the brunt of it. Will it pick up the knockout? Not under sun. It is not going to. 29 HP on that Garchomp still. Psychic attack coming out onto the Garchomp slot as well. So just trying to get rid of that Marowak. So a nice little switch for Yuri, and he's got the recover up now as well.
So to bring up the recover is a really huge thing, because having a Milotic against Torkoal without Sun is like a perfect counter. So he's trying Solar Beam, so Solar Beam you can't forget, because every time he needs one. By the way, guys, Solar Beam without Sun is like bursting one turn for waiting and a second turn hitting. So for Milotic would be easy thing if it just attack and protect, attack and protect. So very good position now for Alessios.
There we see the forfeit coming out from Conan there, so understanding that his position not the strongest outside of Trick Room and outside of Sun. So we are going to see a Game 3 here, and this is what we love about competitive Pokemon. When players make correct adjustments, we see predictions every turn, we see amazing gameplay in these 1 or 2 game matches, and having a best of 3 between 2 world caliber players is what it's all about.
It is, man, and pretty good comeback, even with the unfortunately critical hit in turn 1. This was like a thing that makes it a little bit easier for him, but anyway, very well played by Alessio on this turn. The combination of Milotic and Marowak could be very interesting for burning down the Trick Room turns if he's going to set up a Trick Room again.
That's true, and guys, we can see team preview on your screen. On the left-hand side, we have Alessio Yuri Boschetto's team of Garchomp, Celesteela, Alolan Marowak, Tapu Koko, Milotic, and Whimsicott. And for Conan Thompson of the USA, we can see Garchomp, Torkoal, Oranguru, Crocodile, Tapu Lele, and Celesteela. And Nemanja, do you think there's change needed on Conan's side of the field? Are we going to see any switch-ups here, or do you think that he thinks, okay, I got the critical hit, unfortunately, on the first turn of that last game, I don't need to make any changes?
I don't think he actually played his lead last time with Oranguru and Chomp, where Garchomp was pretty good. And I will see Garchomp again, giving Garchomp another try to land at least one attack, because losing the speed tie and getting the critical hit was very unfortunate. But now we're having 2 Pokemon who are both shredding the Garchomp of Alessio, so I don't think if he's going to get into the speed tie like last time, because when Garchomp of Conan is about to protect, Moonblast is definitely a 1-hit KO on Garchomp.
Yeah, so we do see the dual Garchomp leans here, and Milotic and Tapu Lele on both sides of the field. And we have seen that Alessio's Garchomp has moved first every time they face against each other, right?
Yeah.
So it looks like it might not even be a speed tie. Maybe they're trained differently and there's not a max speed on the opposing Garchomp. which could be interesting.
This could be an option, of course.
I'm just fearing at this point, so
it's
it's interesting to see. But we do know that the Protect is going to come out here, and the Dragon Claw is going to go into Alessio's Garchomp, and we're going to see the Psychic going to target down that Milotic slot under the Psychic terrain. Does so much damage. Ice Beam coming out onto the Garchomp on the opposing side of the field. That's going to be not a knockout there. So a lot of damage traded this turn, but Garchomp sticks around.
Yeah, maybe you're right, because I don't know the special attack by Milotic, but Garchomp sometimes need a little bit of HP and special defense to stay Ice Beam so well. So maybe you're seeing a little bit bulky Garchomp. Maybe this is like, most likely bulky Garchomp comes in the late meta game, because everyone plays the 252 attack and speed Garchomp. But I don't know, anyway, Garchomp now, if he wins his beta, is free to set up an Earthquake, but Tapu Lele is also a big stretch for Garchomp, so could be on both ends. I don't think he needs Garchomp to attack this turn now. But anyway, we're seeing him switch out from Milotic into the Celesteela.
Imagine Celesteela would be coming in here just to take any sort of fairy type attacks. Or there we see the Dragon Claw from Conan. He's very happy. That is a speed type there. So both, so the Garchomp is going to take some damage from the rough skin, but our suspicions were confirmed. Maybe it is like slightly less attack instead of having any sort of additional HP. We do see the Moonblast coming out onto the Celesteela. Maybe that was a double target onto the Garchomp slot there, but our suspicions are confirmed. It is a speed time between those two Garchomp, and what a fortunate time for Conan to win it.
Yeah, it is. Pretty well played by Conan. Finally gets his own speed tie winning here. This was kind of now the most impressive or the most important speed tie he could win. And thankfully, having enough HP to lift the rough skin, still having a Garchomp on the field is awesome, because if he's trying the ground UMZ, I think we don't saw it now. We didn't see it now.
We haven't seen it. We haven't seen it from. We haven't seen it from Conan's side of the field. We've seen it from Fury.
Yeah, but it could be interesting if he's going to Memorack, or even in the Protect. We're talking about the ground UMZ, special effective attack on it. Even through the Protect, it should be should be a lot of damage. But now we're seeing,
we do see the Celesteela coming out here, so Celesteela will be hitting the field. We could be seeing a Earthquake come out from the Garchomp alongside the Celesteela on Conan's side of the field. We see a Dragon Claw instead going into that Marowak slot. Heavy Slam is going to come out from the Celesteela on Alessio's side of the field, going into the opposing slot there. Was hoping to catch Tapu Lele sleeping, and we see the leftovers coming out from Celesteela. Not much damage traded this turn at all.
Yeah. And we did still the Fire Fang onto Celesteela, which did a pretty good amount of damage. This was mostly like 50%, right? So this was also a kind of interesting play by Alessio, just having his Celesteela in front. But we're seeing it as Celesteela from Alessio, taking the Moonblast so well and taking so much damage by the Fire Fang. It's most likely a very good trained special defense. We'll most likely see when he gets a knockout on any Pokemon to the Beast move.
Okay, we actually see the Dragon Claw coming out again from Conan, so he doesn't even need to use the Earthquake there. Celesteela on his side of the field is going to set up a substitute. Marowak clinging on with just under half HP. We see the Heavy Slam going onto that Garchomp slot, which will pick up the knockout here, but Garchomp able to get some good damage off and get a little bit extra with rough skin.
It is, yeah. It's every chip damage on Celesteela is everything you want. But now we're seeing the Beast move, and its attack. So we are talking about a little bit more stronger Celesteela than the bulky one, I guess too. But now we're seeing the Fire Flare Blitz into the sub of Celesteela, taking a little bit of damage from it. But anyway, knowing the Celesteela from Conan is faster than this one of Alessio is also very important.
It was interesting that Conan tried to use Dragon Claw there. Maybe he was expecting a switch in from the Milotic, but he could have gone for an Earthquake there and picked up a big knockout onto the Lone Marowak and saved his Celesteela a lot of trouble later on in the game. So it'd be interesting to find out what item Conan is running on that Garchomp. But we are going to see Conan take a little while to think about his Pokemon here. We're actually going to see Torkoal coming in, which is not under Trick Room and does not take too much damage from Flare Blitz on Marowak's side, but he does have to watch out for the Shadow Bone now.
Yeah, but Torkoal is also like, I think 140% in death, 140 death base stat. So this is also so much he can tank easily his Shadow Bone, by Marowak, even the Boomerang, and also any attack Celesteela can, especially as long as it's not the Earthquake. But I don't think it will be. It's just a substitute by Celesteela, but Torkoal should be just hanging out with a Heat Wave. But we'll see. We're seeing a heavy slam into Torkoal if he's going.
It's a lot of damage. It's a lot of damage from the heavy slam there. And we're going to see, the beast boost, obviously. Yep, obviously. And we've got the boomerang coming out, which is going to pick up the knockout here. So Torkoal unable to make any damage this turn and going down for free. We have the substitute up on Conan's side of the field, but Torkoal leaving the field straight away. Unfortunate, we can actually hear the crowd here cheering for that boomerang. Torkoal going down in one hit. An unfortunate turn of events for Conan.
I think Conan didn't mind. I'm not sure if he forgot or was kind of surprised by the heavy slam damage, because it's just a Celesteela, it's not that strong, but when you get the attack boost, you're seeing, okay, the strongest stat he has is attack now. And if you get the boost, it will be definitely as much as you saw. But anyway, getting a knockout, I was also, if I were Conan, I would press Heat Wave too.
Yeah, and it's really a difficult position for Conan now, because obviously he wants to try and clear Marowak off so Celesteela can set up for the end game, but Celesteela on the opposing side of the field can one-hit knock out Tapu Lele with a heavy slam, so it's going to have to be an interesting turn. He wants to keep his substitute up for as long as possible. He wants to be able to set up Leech Seeds as well, but Marowak is going to protect here, trying to stop any sort of Psychic coming out from the Tapu Lele. Tapu Lele is going to go for it though. It's going to go into the protect. Are we going to see the heavy slam? Leech Seed instead is going to go on to, this is for Conan's Celesteela, obviously. It's going to go onto the Celesteela here. Are we going to see the heavy slam onto Tapu Lele? Could be a really big knockout. There we go. Heavy slam is going to land onto that Tapu Lele. Massive damage. Going to go down in one hit. And that is Tapu Lele leaving the field.
Goodbye Tapu Lele, and Conan only has one Pokemon left against the Celesteela with two attack boosters and Marowak, and I guess it was a Milotic in the back, right?
Yeah, that's a Milotic, yeah.
So not really a good position now for Conan. So only have a Celesteela in front. But anyway, there's no really good chance Conan can win this even by time stalling. So when you're in front of Celesteela and the Milotic was recover, there's not much you can do with Celesteela. So this is as much as over for Conan, I guess.
We're going to be interested to see if the heavy slam on the Celesteela from Alessia's side of the field will be able to break the substitute, so that we can get we could see a big Flare Blitz going onto that slot. Instead, we're actually going to see the Milotic coming in here. So Celesteela leaving the field. Its Beast Boost will go away now, and we're going to see the Leech Seed coming out from Celesteela on Conan's side of the field. So he's ready to take this through for the longest time possible. We can see the Shadow Bone coming out, going to try and break that substitute and make sure that he's got enough HP to be able to get off a big Flare Blitz if possible later on. Doesn't want to take that recall damage if he doesn't need to.
Yeah, he doesn't need to. But anyway, if Marowak's it's still slower than Celesteela, the only way Conan can kind of stall him out is he could attack the Marowak. But anyway, as long as Milotic stands there, it has the option to recover. And Milotic is faster than Celesteela, I'm pretty sure it is. So I don't see any reason, because here we see it now. Recover by Milotic, no chance for Celesteela to get any serious damage on Milotic, so it will always be Celesteela and Milotic on Alessia's side, who are kind of untouchable for the Celesteela for Conan.
Yeah, and we do see the Shadow Bone once again trying to just go take that substitute away. So Celesteela slowly healing itself up using leftovers and Leech Seed, but not being able to do too much damage here. And actually, for the first time ever, I think I'm actually noticing the trainer standing behind Celesteela on Conan's side of the field. Very well matched up against the background here on Psychic Terrain. That's some good fashion choices from Conan there.
You should really mention this is a Professor Oak shirt.
Ooh,
I wear the same in my game because it's the best.
It looks very nice. That's the Legend t-shirt, I believe, or something like that. So we're actually going to see Marowak is being slowly whittled away here. So he's Yuri's going to have to think about trading it out. Here we go. So he's got the options now, because obviously he is free Pokemon up against Celesteela. Celesteela now has the option to either substitute again or drop another Leech Seed. We're going to see that Skull doesn't do that much damage because the sun's still up, but he is now going to be able to get the Heavy Slam onto the Celesteela here, hoping to get the Marowak before it switches out, but no dice. Yuri really making the right call here, and he's got to play safe to be able to make sure that he can take on the Celesteela. He wants to pick up the burn, get as much residual damage as possible, and then eventually just seal the deal with Marowak.
Yeah, and even without the burn, it's not a big deal, but getting the burn off is the definite sign for Conan. There's no more way he can win. Anyway, yeah, just save Scald, Leech Seeds, and this should be it. leech seeding from Celesteela's pot into Celesteela, switching Marowak in to give Marowak the HP he wants back. But now we'll see if Scald is going to take the burn. It's not.
No, but it does a little bit more damage because of the sun going away last turn. So the substitute is going to come in for opposing Celesteela, and now there's going to be a leech seed going on. Leech seed is going to be draining the HP here. Leftovers kicking in for Celesteela as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, like we mentioned before, Conan's...
And we see the leech seed actually went onto Yuri's Milotic here. So Celesteela is setting up for a Celesteela stall war.
Great. This is a really great play. Okay, guys, like I said, Celesteela from Alessio needs the leech seed to get his Marowak back into HP. And he knows the Conan just scraps his sub. He can't do anything against it.
What an impressive play by Yuri here, because obviously he doesn't take that much damage from the opposing Celesteela. He has access to recover. He can continually heal in multiple ways for his Celesteela and his Milotic. Really, really impressive play.
It is, yeah, man, this is a well off, because this is thinking one turn ahead, because like attacking your own Pokemon is always a strange stuff. I hear of people who like thunder waving her own next Pokemon just to get more speed in the trick room and stuff like this, but this is also leeching your own Pokemon for your incoming switching in Pokemon. I guess this is something new.
Thinking outside of the box right there. Most people usually do target the opposing Pokemon when they want to get Leech Seed, but Yuri choosing to mix things up a little bit here. We see the Protect coming out from Celesteela on the opposing side of the field. Scald is going to hit into that Protect. There will be no damage done this turn. So we have the substitute not breaking. We have a lot of leftovers recovery and a lot of Leech Seed recovery going on too.
Yeah, maybe we are seeing Celesteela's going to get a lot of HP. Maybe we are seeing now a switch out from Alessio from Celesteela into a Marowak, and maybe Conan smells that and gets into Heavy Slam, hoping for a critical hit or something like this. But no, Alessio stays very safe, just get the recover up without no damage. Maybe we are seeing now to break this up.
Yep, there we go. You see Yuri is very happy with that. So the double substitute coming out there. Conan hoping that his substitute will be broken by the school, but no dice. And we see the substitute coming up onto the opposing Celesteela, and Yuri is in a fantastic position.
Yeah, he is. And the only thing Conan can do right now is to go on time. But anyway, even with time, Alessio is the one with 2 Pokemon left. So
he has 3. He still has Marowak in the back.
I'm sorry, yeah, Marowak.
So 3 against 1 here, and Conan is still trying to think his way around this. He does have to substitute for one more turn. Another Scald will be able to break it, but we see the Protect instead, so he has it for even one more turn, and we're going to see no damage done this turn, but a lot of healing, a lot of shifting in health for the Pokemon on Yuri's side of the field, and it's just about positioning now. It's really about both players trying to work themselves into a position where they can outlast the other, but with 3 Pokemon on Yuri's side of the field, it's going to be difficult for Conan.
It is difficult. I wouldn't even say difficult, maybe impossible to Conan, because as long as Alessio keep playing safe, keep playing not even any bit of risk, so I don't see any risk for Alessio to lose this.
No, I don't either, and we've just been informed that the round timer is at 9 minutes and about 40 seconds now. So there is not long left, but with the tiebreaker in effect as it is, we would see that Yuri would be winning because he has 3 Pokemon remaining, and there goes the forfeit. So Alessio Yuri Bischetto winning that round here. He is through to the grand finals. He's one of the first people we've seen through, he's through to day 3. He'll be through to the top cut, so he is now in the top 8 cut. Fantastic play from Yuri, and commiserations to Conan there. Really well battled by both competitors.
Yeah, awesome match.